All right, welcome to another edition of the Jerry Foster SEMO Music and Arts Podcast. Today's special guest I have known since December 22nd, 1974. She gave birth to me. Please welcome to the show, my mother. Hi, Mama.
Hi, Sam.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am doing really, really good.
Well, that's great. Glad to hear that.
So you're not familiar with how podcasts work, are you?
No, not really, son. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Basically, we're just going to yak. We're going to talk about music and whatever else may pop up. It's kind of like a radio show for the internet.
Oh, okay.
I'll guide you through it.
All right.
It'll be fun.
All right.
So, my podcast has a theme of music and art.
Okay.
So, for those that are listening, do you mind telling people what instruments you play?
Well, I play the piano. That's my favorite. But I can play the organ, and I can play the accordion. That's about it.
Did you ever try to play guitar?
I tried, but I can't stretch my fingers very good since I have pretty short fingers. But, son, do you remember that time you had that dobro?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Do you remember me playing that?
Yes, I do.
Now, I picked up on that pretty fast.
Yeah.
So,
I think if you had a guitar around the house, you would figure out how to play it.
I probably could.
The biggest thing is learning how to tune the dadgum thing.
I would have to have one of those tuner things.
Yeah. So when did you start playing music?
I believe I was around the age of 8.
Really?
Really. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
In fact, I have your grandma's accordion that I learned how to play on at the age of, I might have been 9, 8 or 9. That's how old this accordion is.
Is it still in tune?
I need some work done on the accordion, but I don't know where there's a music place to take it to. I hear there's a place in Springfield, but
it works on accordions.
Yes.
Maybe Shivelbines over in Cape Girardeau would work on them.
Okay, I don't know where that is.
You know what? I've just gotten me a homework assignment. I want to try to figure out where we can take that accordion and get it worked on. Yeah,
because I really would like to get it worked on and get it back into good shape. This is the accordion, if you remember right. Well, you don't remember it, but you probably remember us talking about the bad car accident your dad and I had when you was just a baby.
Will you tell that story? I love the story. The story's great.
Well, your dad and I and your sister Joyce. You was about 18 months old, something like that. And so
now, did I have my stunning good looks at 18 months?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, I was ready for the big screen, right?
Oh, listen, your mama don't believe in having ugly babies. No.
I was good with the ladies at 18.
Honey, you've always been good with the ladies, regardless. You could be cranky and when you're a baby, let me give you to another woman. You're okay.
Okay.
All right, but anyways, you really want to hear that story?
Yeah, it's a good story. I think it's a story that people would enjoy hearing on my podcast.
Well, this is...
It may explain a few things about my goofiness, too.
It might. Because you definitely did not take that goofiness after your mother.
No.
We want that clear, you know.
What?
No, I can't honestly say that. Anyway, your dad and I, we were going down 67 south.
Uh-huh.
And there was a place called the the totem.
Uh-huh.
What was that called? Totem post or something like that.
Yeah, it was right by the cow shed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, you was probably about 18, 19 months old, something like that. Well, you know, the law wasn't real strict back then about the car seats.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, because your dad didn't tell me where we were going, and I thought we was going to the cow shed. That's what I thought.
Okay.
So I had taken you out of your car seat, and I had you on my lap. And we had the windows rolled down because it was summertime.
Uh-huh.
And Joyce was, of course, sitting in the back seat.
Yeah.
And but instead, though, we was going to go to that totem post. I think that was the name of it. Anyways, when we went to make our turn, this lady behind us was going way too fast and hit the rear end of our car.
Uh-oh.
And it completely turned our car the opposite direction, setting us on the side of the highway. Of course, it broke the gas tank. And you being in my lap, and with that being hit with such force and turning us around the opposite direction,
Uh-huh.
your dad had his arm up in the window. You know, of course, it was rolled down.
Yeah.
And
Didn't have air conditioning in the car.
we did, but we just decided to have the windows down.
Okay.
And your head hit your dad's arm, and that's what kept you from getting thrown out the car.
That's amazing.
It's a very amazing. God had his protecting hand upon all of us. And the lady that hit us, her car went across the highway, and 67 highway from south end to the north end is very busy.
Uh-huh.
There wasn't another car at that particular timing when the lady went across the highway and I think there was a little ditch or something.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, we were very blessed that nobody didn't get killed or seriously injured. Joyce had a bump on her head.
Uh-huh.
So we had a horse at that time. And we had
Spunky.
just bought some horse feed
Uh-huh.
for the horse, and it was in the trunk. Also,
Hey.
this accordion
Yeah.
has quite a history. It was also in the back of the trunk of the car. It did not damage that accordion.
That's amazing. That is
Mhm.
amazing.
Exactly. That accordion is, back when I was in the 7th grade, a house we were living in caught on fire.
Wow.
That accordion survived the fire. So this accordion has quite a history.
Wow. It's like it's had
Yes.
some divine intervention action going on.
There was. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind.
Uh-huh.
There's no doubt in my mind.
That accordion
That
has a purpose in this life.
Exactly. See, God makes everything, for our use.
Uh-huh.
Accordions, guitars, so my son can enjoy playing his guitar, playing music.
Yeah.
And see that, to me, when we have great talents like that, yes, part of it is because of, I think, heredity. Your grandma was good.
Uh-huh.
Good musician. You know that.
Sure, she
She
played
got
anything
played.
she put her hands on.
Anything. And so, yes, we do inherit some of our talents from our parents.
Uh-huh.
But to me, though, every talent that is given to us is because it's a God-given talent.
I believe that wholeheartedly. In fact, I was telling somebody one time, they said they didn't believe in God giving talent or this, that, or the other. And I said, well, and that's, if that's what you want to believe, that's all right. I'm not going to argue with you. But I know this, when I was in your belly,
Right.
there was not a checklist of attributes that I got to mark off that said I could be this, that, or the other. I didn't choose to be musical. I was given that talent. I had nothing really to do with it other than just practice and harness it. But it's not like I got to make the choice to be a musician. God gave me that. It's a gift.
Right.
It is definitely
Right.
a gift. I didn't give myself. I can cultivate it. I can water it, and I can
Right.
take it as far as I can. But the desire to play music came from God,
Right.
and the ability to do that, I firmly believe, comes from God. Therefore, I always give God credit for my music ability, even though, yes, I put in hard work. I'm not going to lie, I put in a lot of hard work. As you know, having to listen to me growing up. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but the first instrument that I tried to play was the drums. Remember?
Uh-huh. Yes.
And do you remember you bought me a little wrestling ring and some wrestling action figures? I'm not going to call them dolls. But I took the ring apart and used it as a drum downstairs in the basement, and I'd play along with Chipmunk records.
Yeah.
And I've even said this on the radio and in interviews. The song that made me want to play music, that literally got me excited about music, was that Muhammad Ali versus Mr. Tooth Decay record.
Yeah.
And the sound of those trumpets and the drums and the vocal harmonies, and man, I would get so excited listening to that record. And you would say, "Son, go to your room, you're getting on my nerves." And I'd go in there and I would turn on that record and I would pretend I was playing guitar and drums. And how old was I? Maybe 4?
4 at the most.
At the most. Maybe 3. Because I was just learning how to brush my teeth on my own.
Right.
And that's why
I bought you that record was to encourage you to brush your teeth, because that's what it was about.
But what you didn't know, and you couldn't have known, was that there would be that song on there, and that would be what I am. I can say with 100% honesty, the first song I ever fell in love with. And you know what I mean by falling in love with a song. You hear a song, you're just like, go, God, I love that. Was the theme song from the Muhammad Ali versus Mr. Tooth Decay album. And I would go to my room and I would get excited. You know how when you get excited, you get chill bumps up and down your back and everything? That's how I felt when I heard that song. And that's how I felt when I would hear that. And I would just jump and dance around and sing. And yeah, so getting sent to my room was never really a punishment as long as I had my record player.
Yeah, that's what's so funny, is because whenever I would send you to your room as a punishment instead of always a spanking, I would send you to your room because I wanted you to think about what you did wrong. And then as time goes on and as you grow up, and then you inform me, "Mom, you thought you was punishing me, sending me to my room, but instead it was really an enjoyment to you."
Yeah, it wasn't much of a punishment. I'm not going to lie. But you know what? You know what? It kept me from, because I was a hyper little guy.
All right.
And it kept me out. It kept me out of trouble. So I want to go back to you being a little girl playing music. Obviously, Grandma, your mother.
Right.
Very musical.
Right.
She played music as a little kid.
Correct. See, Grandpa, okay, her daddy, which is my grandpa, your great-grandpa Long, okay, he bought violins.
Yeah.
For your grandma Fuller, and then, of course, for her sisters also. And he had them take violin lessons.
Yeah.
And so she knew how to play music. As for me, I play strictly by ear. But when I was little, she would show me, and I would listen.
Yeah.
When she was playing, and I would watch. And so I first started playing music, like if I played by notes, because that's the way your grandma played.
Uh-huh.
And I would, so whenever I knew the song and I knew the beat of the song, and so whatever it said in the book, was supposed to be in C chord, G chord, whatever, I would sit and I would pick it out.
Okay.
By note, when I was little. Now, when I was in the 6th grade for the Christmas program at the school,
yeah,
I played Silent Night on the piano for the group.
And you just played it by ear? They didn't teach it to you?
No, I played it by ear. I practiced at home. We had a piano, to Grandma and Grandpa's. And so Grandma helped me learn how to play Silent Night. And so I played Silent Night for the group at the school when I was in the 6th grade.
Yeah. Now, I'm trying to envision what Grandma was like back then, because obviously you know this, and anybody that knows me knows I adored my grandmother.
Exactly.
She meant the world to me. I loved her since I was a little boy up until we lost her. I was very close to Grandma. Dare I say, closer to her than Grandpa, but I was. And we had the artistic bond out of all the grandchildren, and there's many. I was the one that got the music bug. For whatever reason, I was the one out of all the grandkids, and there's a lot. As far as I know, I don't know of any other grandchildren that did anything with music. My cousin Robert plays a little guitar, but I don't think he ever, had bands and,
Well, I believe, though, with you, son, it's because, for number one, you had been grown up in a home with music. Your daddy played the guitar.
Absolutely.
I played the piano.
Yeah.
And so, and when you, and I know I'm getting off the subject, but even when you was about 18 months old, I'll never forget you getting away from Betty Jo at the church, because she's supposed to have been holding you, and you got away from her when your dad and I were singing touring that city.
Uh-huh.
And you knew the chorus by heart. And you got up there with us, and you sang word by word, right on key, and this is God's truth. You sang. You opened your little mouth up, and you sang word by word on the chorus touring that city. 18 months old. 18, 19, around in there. You was not.
Well, and again, that's where I say it's a God thing. I probably wasn't even speaking very well at 18 months, but I was singing.
But you sang very clearly.
Uh-huh.
You knew you were singing the words clearly.
Yes.
But I never allowed you kids just to talk baby talk. I would try to, I would not talk baby talk.
Right.
And so, no, it was clear. But anyways, I'm sorry.
No, going back to Grandma and you being a little girl, I obviously think Grandma hung the moon.
Yes.
I'm trying to, because I remember what she was like when I was young, and I was a very spirited young boy. And she was very, very patient with me. When I wasn't feeling good and I was acting up, or maybe I was having a temper tantrum, she would sit me down and we would paint together. Remember those ceramics? Grandma was a painter. Just a little background on my grandmother. She painted, she did poetry, she was a musician. When I would go to my grandma's and I was upset, she would be, well, Jerry Dale, let's do some ceramics. So I would go to Grandma's, she'd get out the paint, and I would paint those ceramic,
right, yeah.
What am I trying to say, figurines or whatever. We put them in the kiln and glaze them and all that. How patient was she with you? Because I just picture her being a super patient mom. And you don't have to lie. If she wasn't, you can say she wasn't. You can burst my bubble. It's okay.
Well, as growing up, she was patient in some ways.
Uh-huh.
But then she was very impatient in other ways, just like all of us mamas get.
Well, and let's face it, how we are as parents is different than how, I don't know this yet, but you do, how you are as a grandparent.
As a grandparent,
I've seen Jessica get a... Yeah.
I think from our learning from raising children, that we can look at our mistakes, and so we kind of make up for it through our grandchildren.
Sure,
and
it's a do-over, isn't it? It's like you get a second, you get a do-over, another, right?
Because I know Joyce would make comment, Mom, if I did that, we'd get in trouble.
Hey, listen, after you and Dad were no longer, there was a time Jessica was probably 3, 4, I don't know. She was over at my dad's house, jumping up and down on his couch. And I said, Jessica, stop that. Because if I'd have done that, I'd have got my butt blistered.
Yep.
Dad said, you leave that baby alone. She ain't hurting nothing. I was like, man, what in the world? Anyway, but when Grandma was teaching you to play Silent Night in the 6th grade, was that like a really good memory that you have? Like, was it one of those you bonded with Grandma over music?
Yeah. She was my inspiration as far as playing the piano. Now, as time went on, and after your dad and I married, of course, you know, I was born and raised out in the state of Oregon.
Yeah.
And so the West Coast is so much different from here.
Oh, yes. We're behind here.
So your dad was born and raised here in Missouri.
Correct.
I was born and raised out on the West Coast. What a combination. So when we all moved here to Missouri, and then, of course, I met your dad, he said, I don't like the way you play, and I don't like the way you sing. And
was he at least polite about it?
Not exactly.
Yeah, I can picture him presenting that to you, actually.
And so we had a piano when we lived on West Davis Street. I don't know if you would remember West Davis because you wasn't quite 2 yet when we moved up to Washington.
No, my first memories of life are living in Olympia, Washington.
Okay.
That's the first memories that I have of living is out there in Washington.
Okay. But anyways, we had a piano, and your dad would get his guitar, and he'd say, I want you just to chord. So just chording on the piano was very difficult for me at first.
Because you were so used to plunking out the melodies.
Right. And then I could hear the change when I needed to change chords. And so he would get his guitar, and so we'd start, he'd go with just one song. We'd start just one song.
Yeah.
And I would miss when to change chords because I couldn't hear it. And yes, he would get very frustrated with me. And can't you hear that change? No, I cannot. But now, after I have finally learned how to listen and know my chord changes, I can't hardly play the other way anymore.
I don't think I've ever heard you just sit down and notate out a song and just play notes. Sorry, my phone is blowing up because people are. Never mind. Sorry about that. Never mind. Anyway, that's what that blinking sound is. It's Facebook stuff. Bing, bing, bing. Do you hear it?
Oh, I don't hear it.
Oh, okay.
So now this is on Facebook?
Well, it will be.
Well.
It'll be on YouTube, and then from YouTube, I'll put it on my Facebook page where I have all my podcasts.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the world can hear my mama.
Oh, okay.
You're going to be famous worldwide.
So, music, that's good. So, music-wise, your Aunt Judy. she also plays the piano, and you know she's a very good singer.
Yes, I remember her and Aunt Debbie singing harmonies together.
And Aunt Debbie can sing, but she can't play any music. She's not music, you know.
She doesn't. She doesn't play any instruments. Her voice is her instrument.
No, but her voice, but she can sing. But now your Aunt Sharon, for some reason, she never could carry any tune.
Yeah. She's not musical, is she?
She's just not musical at all, but she has other great talents with her hands, you know, making things.
Yes.
So
she is creative, yes. And
very creative.
And she's very good with literature.
Very good. And then your Uncle Chuck, he played the guitar and he sang.
He sounded just like Waylon Jennings.
You thought so?
Oh, good God, yeah, he sounded just like him.
Huh. Okay, I never thought of that.
Yep.
And you know, your Grandpa Fuller also played.
Yes.
You know, the guitar, he sang.
Uh-huh.
And then my Grandma and Grandpa Long, which is Grandma Fuller's mom and daddy,
uh-huh,
they were great singers.
Yeah.
Also, plus your Grandpa Long played the mandolin.
Uh-huh.
Well, be your great grandpa.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're from a very musical family from way back.
Absolutely. And then on my daddy's side,
right,
people played music too.
Right. Your Uncle Freddie, your Uncle Buddy, and then there's Hanley's your first cousin, so Radney, your second cousin, very musical, very good playing the guitar for his youngest, and he just picked that up on his own by listening.
Right.
And he's very good, very good. So yeah, on both sides of your family, music.
Yeah. So
it's good for the soul.
So do you mind if I ask you some questions about my dad?
No, go right on ahead.
It won't bother you, will it?
No.
Okay. Well, I did not know this until he passed away. Dad used to play the local bar scene around here.
And see, I did not realize that either.
I didn't know it.
Because
until somebody had told me after Dad died, they were like, hey, I remember going and seeing your dad play here in town, and named off where he used to play and people he played with. So that's what I was actually going to ask. Did you know that Dad used to play around here?
I really didn't know that he played that much around here. Now, and I don't know if he played with Jamie Anderson or not.
I don't know. The fella that was telling me said that he had a backing band. It was some of them live over in Springfield. One was a lady who played drums and whatnot. I don't know. I guess when before Dad met you, which Dad was young when he met you.
I never would have known that because, for one thing, your dad didn't even have driver's license until after we married. That's right.
Well, I had to really question this guy, and it's somebody that knew Dad, and he's like, yeah, no, your dad, Jerry Foster Sr. When he was, I don't know, I guess back then you could, well, you know, I used to play in bars before I was 21.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
It just struck me odd because Dad was so against me playing music out in bars for the longest time until he realized that he couldn't stop me from doing it. I wanted to play music and make a little bit of money at it, and it's just and I would play anywhere. I played in church with you guys, and I just wanted to play music and write songs. But it was funny because Dad used to get so mad at me. Turn that guitar down. You're making noise. But at the end, he really was very supportive. And I think he was actually pretty proud of his son making music. from all accounts,
Yeah.
from what I hear. So.
Well, your dad never was one to show a lot of affectionate type emotions.
No, he wasn't an affectionate man.
And I think that just goes back because that's the way he was raised.
Well, sure, it always goes back to how you're raised. Always.
Right. Now, I would say this about your daddy. When he was a little boy, because he was, this is before I even knew any of his family, so this is things that he's told me.
Uh-huh.
That he had a brother named Todd.
Yeah.
And Todd was kind of like another daddy figure to him because your daddy was the youngest out of 13 children. And
13 kids.
13.
They should have pitched in and got Grandma Foster a hysterectomy after she had Dad.
Well, your dad is the baby.
Yes, I'm saying after Dad was born, because then I could still be alive,
Yeah. But your daddy, though, but anyway, so he is the youngest out of 13.
Yeah.
And he is what they call the seventh son.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, Todd used to take your daddy when he was just little. And I'm surprised because I don't think they allow it nowadays. But back then, I guess they did.
Uh-huh.
Because your daddy was a very little boy. And from the stories he's told me. And Todd would take him to the bars with him.
Uh-huh. So he probably got a hankering for music at a very early age.
That may be how your daddy got started before I ever met him.
Yeah.
But your dad was 19 when I met him.
Uh-huh.
And he wasn't playing in bars then.
I don't know, unless they were confusing him with somebody else, but they swore up and down it was Dad.
Because before I met him, he was going with this other girl, and she lived in Portageville.
Uh-huh.
And then when they split up, and he came back to Papa Bluff, and then I met him, and of course, then you know the rest of the history of that one. But he never was playing in bars then, and he did not go to the bars.
Right.
After he married me, because your mama.
Uh-huh. You laid down the law.
Yes, I did.
You said you can't do that, Bubba.
Well, he did, though. He did.
Yeah.
Go to bars even after we were married, but not much. But anyways, I cannot picture him with a band. I think they got him mixed up with somebody else. I've never heard of it. I think your Aunt Shirley and them would have told me.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
And your dad never said anything to me about it, and I believe he would have.
Did Dad ever talk about how he got into playing music, though?
No.
Did he ever mention why he played guitar upside down and backwards?
Well, I played upside down backwards because he was left-handed, so that's how he taught himself. But
why didn't he just go and get a left-handed strung guitar?
Maybe because it might have cost more, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know how he got his guitar because...
Here's what I think he told me, was that they only had one guitar in the house because they were poor.
Very poor. Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you've got his brothers who are all right-handed wanting to play guitar. All they could afford was one guitar. So, being the little baby of the bunch and being the only lefty... He just flipped it over and taught himself to play, and it did kind of like me playing that way, because Dad never had left-handed guitars in the house. I just taught myself to play on his right-handed guitars.
Right. Yeah, you played that to your daddy, upside down and
backwards.
Backwards.
Upside down and backwards. If you stand on your head and look in a mirror, then it looks like I'm playing guitar properly.
Right. Well, and you know what's strange is that because I was so used to the way your dad played the guitar upside down and backwards, that whatever chord he was going to go into, I knew what he was at on the guitar. somebody that would put the guitar the right way and play it the right way and had the fingers, like let's say D chord, C, whatever. I did not know where they were at. I would have to say, what chord are you in?
Yeah.
Because I learned to watch him and knew how he played, so I learned it upside down.
So I have a question. When you were a little girl, did Grandma and Grandpa force you to play, or were you like me and said, I've got to play music?
No, I was the one. No,
they didn't force it on you. You made a choice to play music.
They didn't even encourage it.
Really?
No.
They didn't?
It's something that I wanted to do, and so Grandma would take the time and show me, and she helped me, as a little girl. Like I said, I started about 8 or 9 years old, about 8 years old, I think. But 8 or 9, around in there. And it's just something I always had a desire of. Now,
it was just one of those things you had to do, didn't you? It's just, I've got to play music.
It was just something that, and even to this day, as you well know, I played the piano in several different churches, and in fact, I've been asked whenever the piano player was gone. I've even been asked to go to certain churches to play.
Yeah.
And then Jack Campbell, he was very popular, called Jack Campbell and the Ambassadors.
Yep.
Now, I did not play for Jack Campbell and the Ambassadors. But twice, when I was living in Poplar Bluff there, it was just Jack Campbell himself came to a church, and the piano player at that church was gone, and I was there filling in. And Jack Campbell was the
good grief
special singer.
Yeah.
I played for him.
That's cool.
2 different times. And so, yeah. And then I got to go to out to Arizona and went to 5 different Indian reservations playing and singing at churches.
What's your favorite song to play?
Well, that's really a hard one.
I think I asked you that once before.
You did. The one that everybody seems to request the most, I'm going to put it that way, is called Little David. I don't know, there's just something about that song. And then there's another one I get requested quite a bit. It's called Ordinary Day.
Which me and you did a recording of.
Exactly, yes. And then there are so many different ones, but there's one that really I enjoy playing and singing is because it relates to my life.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Now, how are you not going to be able to think of a song that relates to your life?
I know, because I got all these other songs going through my mind.
Yeah.
And so now I'm having I'm thinking of the name of it, but anyway, so it's talking about a woman that in the Bible days, and her last meal was almost gone, but God, He sent Elijah. He's a prophet of God. He sent Elijah to make His word known. And Elijah told the woman not to worry because God sent him that day. And before you even ask Him, now this is the name of the song, help is on the way. And that is one of my favorites because I was like that little woman in the Bible. About 13 years ago, I did not know where my help was going to come from. And I was scared.
Yeah.
That help was always on the way. And God always provided the provisions, anything I really needed, it was always there. And then as the chorus goes on about, help won't help tomorrow if you give up today. If we give up hope and we give up our faith in God, well then when we give up, then help. It's not going to help us.
Right.
We have to keep hope, and we have to keep, ourselves as saying it will get better. And as you well know, I've been blessed. I'm not rich, but I'm a lot better off than I used to be. So help was always on the way. And so before I close with our talking, I just want to encourage people just to keep on, just keep the faith. Keep the faith, because help will be on the way.
That is a great, great message.
Yes. That's why, son, your mother is very strong about my faith in God, because you know as well as I know, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of trials, but still through it all, because I kept my faith in God, and I know it's because of God that has sustained me, that has helped me, and I'm a much better person than I used to be.
That's great. That's good. That's I think that's the whole purpose of having a faith and a belief is to try to make your life and those around you better.
That's right. That is exactly right.
And then when you do, then you give that you give the credit to God and not yourself.
Right. Because I take no credit. I never have, and I never will.
Yeah.
Because I know where my help has come from.
Uh-huh.
And it certainly was not within myself.
Uh-huh.
But I try to do things just within myself without really depending on God. I flub up.
Yeah.
I make a mess. But that's why I pray. I pray for my family, but I always pray for my family.
Well, sure.
But but see, it's not just my four no more. I pray for different ones that I know personally that needs prayer, because prayer changes things.
Well, I have a question, and it's not meant to be to start a fight or anything like that. But everybody's a child of God on earth, correct? God created all of us.
Right.
Every person, all 7 billion people on the earth, God created, correct?
Yes.
Then why do we say, God bless America? Why don't we just say, God bless the world? Because it kind of sounds to me kind of big-headed to say, God just bless America, when we're all children of God.
Well, we live in America.
Uh-huh.
And so, of course, we're saying God bless America.
Yeah.
Because this is our land.
Right.
And I don't really feel like that people are meaning for to not go out any further than just America.
I think we should switch the slogan to God bless the world.
And because we need to bless the world, and especially, and I don't want to get into too much other things.
But especially where people are doing evil things, and people are starving, and people are under daily attacks of,
Right. This is how I pray about America. I said, God, I'm not asking you to bless America because you're not going to bless sin. God does not bless sin.
Right.
But I said, God, I pray for your mercy and your grace upon America.
Right.
Because America has gotten so far away from God, and I hate to say that, but it's true. God has gotten taken out of just about everything. And it's because of God why we're here. Also, I do pray for the other countries. Believe me, I pray for the other countries. And Israel, for number one, God says, if we bless Israel, he will bless us. Hey, come on in. And so, this is where, yeah, you're right. We need to say, God bless the whole world.
Yep.
And I agree 100% so.
So what can we do with music and art to bless the world?
Well, music and art to bless the world.
Yeah, how can we bless the world through music and art?
Well, see, son, the thing is, not everybody is into music. And I know you don't understand that because you're so musical inclined.
I'm not saying everybody has to play music. I'm saying those that do, how can they use it for the betterment of mankind?
Well,
to bless, because that's what a blessing is. A blessing is having more than you need.
Well, see, with me, now, okay, with me, I go to different churches.
Yeah.
I play and sing in different churches. I've also sang in the nutritional center, you know. So, and then your dad and I, we used to sing over the radio. So that's blessing other people. And this is the only way I know how to tell you is, just like when you and your group has gone out and sang, and like I came and saw you down on Main Street in Poplar Bluff that time. And there was a lot of people there, a crowd.
Yeah.
Okay. So your music was going out, and you were blessing other people through your music. That's the only way I know how to tell you. I don't know.
Well, see, because I write a lot of songs and I try to put them out, I always try to write, and I've even taken flack for this, but I try to write very encouraging songs.
Right, and I don't.
Yes, you do. And by the way, I was going to say thank you too, because while it's secular music and it's not gospel music, you still support it, and I appreciate that. Because you don't have to do that, but you do. And what I was.
You write good songs. You do write good songs, and
they're not
songs that is.
They're not vulgar.
Right. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, they're not vulgar, and they don't promote hate and violence and I'm tortured and I'm blaming you. It's I try to, because I heard an expression once that said complaining without a solution is whining. I try to offer up a solution. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I didn't come up with that idea. I just try to implement that idea that I learned somewhere along the way. So that's why I try to write positive songs, and there's times I've kind of taken grief. They're like, well, you can't be happy all the time, Jerry. You can't be spreading sunshine and lollipops all the time. Well, I fight with anxiety and depression. Believe me, I know life is not all rainbows and unicorn. I know that.
Right.
However, what I choose to present to whoever's listening doesn't have to be negative.
Right.
And for me, writing positive songs, if that can help somebody make it through a tough time, then that I would rather do that. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing is, son, as you are putting out the positive to others, actually you're putting it back into yourself too.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I love the local music scene. I love the people that play music. And because I am the way I am, I don't have to wear my Christianity on my sleeve. People know I'm a Christian by the way I behave. And they know that I believe in Christ and whatnot. And I've been very fortunate that even though I'm in a community of musicians, and there's a lot of Christian musicians that don't play quote unquote Christian music. But they're not into drugs, they're not in, they're faithful to their wives. They just want to play music.
Right.
And they're actually able to go out and by their actions sort of bless people with music. So that's just kind of my take on how we can make the world a good place through our art, because I think it's very important that if you have a gift, give it back. And give it back in a way that makes the world a better place. Because if we don't, and I probably sound like I'm on a soapbox, and I'm not a real political person, you know that, Mom. But I believe that if we want the world to be a better place, don't wait on the government to do it. Don't wait on somebody else to do it. You have to take action yourself.
We have to, yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that's where the whole love your neighbor and all of that comes into place.
That's exactly right. And you're right.
And it sounds like you've got company.
I have company come in, so I really need to go. But this has been enjoyable talking to you.
Yeah, I appreciate you being on my show, Mom.
Well, you're more than welcome, and hopefully this has been a blessing to somebody out there.
Yeah. And I just want to say, and I ain't doing this for show, because I say this every time we talk, I love you very much.
Yes, you do, son.
And I'm glad you're my mom.
I appreciate that so much. I tell different people, I said, I don't care where I'm at. I said, I go to my son's work or wherever I'm at. I said, my son always tells me, Mama, I love you. And I'm telling you, that means the world to me.
As a parent myself, I can tell you I understand wholeheartedly.
I appreciate it. Son,
yep.
I love you.
I love you too, Mom.
Have a great afternoon or a great day, whatever.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll be seeing you guys soon.
All right, Mom. I love you. You have a good day and a good weekend and all of that.
Okay, honey. I love you.
All right. Bye, Mom.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today's that's going to wrap it up for today's podcast. I'd like to thank my special guest, Miss Marjory Foster, my mother, for being on here and sharing some family history. If you've followed me musically for any amount of time, maybe you learned a little something there, but more importantly, maybe you got something out of hearing my mom's place in the local music scene, in the church scene, and gives an idea of where those of us who may not have went the church route got our ability and got maybe even some of our ideas for songwriting. I know certainly my upbringing in church has influenced my songwriting. I don't think that's a big secret. But anyway, I hope the podcast has been good. I appreciate you for hanging in there and listening. Yeah, thank you guys so much. The podcast has been a blast. And that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you all so much. Just be yourself and everything will fall into place. Bye for now.